TuSin has opted for a Caitlyn, whereas it's just that same old Jace pick for Shy. Had the opportunity to go with Kayle, but you know, Kayle's range discrepancy versus a Caitlyn probably wouldn't necessarily be all that great, and specifically because there are no bans for blind pick, that warrants a very different style than you'd see normally. Alright, so let's just take a look at the runes and masteries. For TuSin, looks like he's going with flat AD percent attack speed, if I'm not mistaken. And as far as masteries are concerned, 2190 points into everything that matters except for the last, or the dangerous game. 1 point put into that dangerous game mastery by TuSin that doesn't do anything. If you use dangerous game, that's because you've gotten a kill or an assist. Well, newsflash, if you got a kill or assist, you've already won the 1v1. So I'm still a little bit unsure as to why he's picked that up. Also, of course, as the observer is pointing out, picked up a point in bonus attack speed when you land a critical strike, but unfortunately critical strike runes are not allowed in the Solo King just due to the RNG effects. Straight up 15 AD, so a much higher AD perspective, and you'll notice for Shy, he is actually both taking points out of the crit chance, or not the crit chance, the attack speed off of crits, and there's no dangerous game mastery for Shy picked up, and that has allowed him to pick up some extra sustain, some cooldowns and attack speed, and he's also not gone for the blade weaving. Just sticking with that spell weaving, not wanting to put another point in there. Now, he has put 3 points into Warlord, and that Warlord mastery is a little bit questionable sometimes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Solo King, a Korean 1v1 tournament broadcast here on Azubu TV. Game number 3 here between TuSin and Shy winning the popularity vote by a landslide. The games themselves have actually been very, very close. TuSin with a game 1 victory. Shy bringing it back with the same champion he's playing here, Jace. Defender of tomorrow is going to have to defend today versus TuSin on Caitlyn, one of the strongest 1v1 champions we've seen emerge here in the Solo King. I'd love to get some win rate stats on that, but as far as the win stats go between these two players, on the head-to-head, coming into this game, the CS per minute, the time played, the creep score overall, everything in favor of Shy. He's got more creeps, has played less overall time, so he's won more quickly, and he has a higher CS per minute, so go figure. He's also done it on less champions. And both players have picked up all of their group stage wins with First Bloods. So no turret kills, no winning with 100 CS, it's just been straight up First Bloods. And what a way to go as far as 1v1s go. It can be a little bit of a safety mechanism to say, all right, I always know I can fall back, add my turret, win that CS battle, and win the game that way without actually ever really having to play against the enemy AD carry. You just sit in lane, farm things out at long range, and I remember the first time I saw Caitlyn played as a 1v1 champion. It was I think it was a couple of years ago at All-Stars, and Messiah was actually playing Caitlyn. He actually brought Smite on Caitlyn so that he could kill more minions more quickly, keep the wave shoved up, and actually won with a turret kill victory, I believe, in that matchup, if I'm not mistaken. No smites here for TuSin, as he is actually going to need that summoner heal to keep himself a little bit more mobile. Now, unfortunately for TuSin, he's actually facing a little bit of a summoner spell counter here. Barrier overall provides you with more defensive stats, just straight up, you know, HP for HP. But for Summoner Heal, you actually get the full benefit of getting all that health just as straight up health. Whereas Barrier, you can hold off on the damage, wait for Barrier to come back down, and then go in for damage. The downside of bringing a heal, though, is that it does get cut in half by Ignite, a summoner spell that Shy has brought with him this time. So we'll need to use that to cut down the Summoner Heal's effectiveness. Maybe that'll help him win the 1v1. That will inevitably win him the series and advance him on to the next round of the Solo King. Ooh, Shock Blast, acceleration gated. He's TuSin down to half HP, and now going in through the minion line. That's actually the Summoner Heal already used. TuSin not really respecting this. Does get a nice dodge on that Shock Blast coming in. No acceleration gate to really put out that damage, and the Pilt over Peacemaker and some minion damage. Trade that damage right back. On off to Shy. Lane kind of resetting. It's actually pushing in Shy's favor at this point. Oh, getting behind the minion line too. Just standing still. Using some of that stop action micro. Sometimes the biggest jukes are the ones that don't happen at all. You just stand, move back and forth, and you stand perfectly still. And your late opponent, his brain just explodes. Like, I thought you were going to juke, and then he just misses everything. Shy missing that one skill shot. He's actually been pretty good at hitting them. Speaking of pretty good at hitting skill shots, TuSin. I think he's hit almost every single one of those built over peacemakers. At least in this game. Oh, shock blast. Gonna land. There's Shy going forward. Just use that damage on a cannon minion. I am fairly sure he used at least one of those abilities on a cannon minion. TuSin, pretty happy that cannon minion's there to block a little bit of that damage coming his way. Sustained advantage, though, definitely in TuSin's favor. So far, so that TuSin actually has an extra health potion that he's only just now using, where Shy is completely out of sustain, and we'll have to go back to base before he picks up any more of it. Off the recall back to base, TuSin does get the opportunity to push way far up in the lane, and Shy only able to come back into lane with a couple of Doran's blades. We'll see what the buy is here for TuSin, as he should be able to afford at least those 2 Doran's blades. CS was actually fairly comparable, but the big difference should be the health potions. When he comes back into lane, that's 4 HP potions, which is somewhat redundant because the P and H. Health point potions. There we go. TuSin with 4 of those and 1 mana potion after the teleport back to lane. Oh, nice micro back through the minion wave. Will block a lot of that damage and gets the 90 caliber net backwards to avoid being hit by that thundering blow. Gave himself a lot of that damage. A great trade versus Shy, and even with that mana potion, or those mana potions rather, in his inventory, it sets up for a lot of sustain. He's gonna be in this lane for a while. Does have to worry about the CS game. He is down about 2 CS, I believe. Exactly 2 CS as the lane resets just a little bit towards TuSin's side of the map. One by one, a very, very close CS game being played here, but we're less than halfway through to our 100 CS goal, and keep in mind when you hit that 100 CS, you have to be 10 CS above your lane opponent in order to claim victories. So if this keeps being this close, right back and forth, you might see actually a little bit more of a prolonged game. And in fact, there have been a couple of games so far in the Solo King where games have stretched on to like the 15, 16 minute mark just because both players are so close in CS, because it becomes kind of a razor's edge matchup. If you get behind in CS, you'll never catch back up, you're on the back foot, and your best recourse is to kill the guy or risk him out CSing you, because you know it's going to happen sooner or later. So for Caitlyn versus Jace, this should be a Caitlyn favored at least CS matchup. Extra range, that headshot proc gonna make it a little bit easier, and you can see TuSin. Perfect CS there on that wave, actually coming out ahead in that CS score, which is once again a little bit redundant. CS score. Yeah, I'm gonna pretend that didn't happen. Also interesting to note the 3 Caitlyn traps, those Yordle snap traps. No Yordles, but still the snap traps out in front of the turret. Delicious cupcakes there for Shy if he wants them, but gonna have to resist for now. Straight auto attacks one after another. Minion wave kind of tied up here in the mid lane, but oh, going back in there once again. Perfect 90 caliber net backwards. TuSin, oh, he actually does miss that CS, so good denial. Underneath turret, but of course, now the 2 CS advantage back in TuSin's favor. Of course, when you're commentating a 2 CS advantage, probably missing out on some of the other subtle nuances. The observers in game, Shu and Chuds. Chud's a guy named Chudnator. He spoke to him in between the break. And he told me that his dream today is that while he's in game, to make sure that the game doesn't end too early, his dream is to kill Faker. So if there's a really, really close 1v1, he told me he's going to teleport mid lane and try to kill Faker after he's won the game, just so that he can tweet and say that he's done that. So you want to keep an eye on Faker versus Gank by Mom, as that matchup comes up a little bit later on. Ace in the hole. There's the free damage. Won't be used to win his lane matchup, but to balance here on such a narrow knife's edge. Shock Blast hitting on a TuSin, and really Shy's getting some nice Shock Blast damage out there. Oh, he's actually recalling back to base. He's got that teleport right back up again, and his teleport comes up a little bit ahead of TuSin, so he'll pick up double Doran's blades. Come back to lane with 4 of them. Teleport. Oh, he's going to TP to a minion. He recognizes that they're going to hit the CS cap, so he doesn't have to worry about getting the reduced teleport cooldown by TPing to a turret. So he's going to do that to a minion, maybe try to keep himself in this CS game, and we'll get that CS underneath turret. Gets that one too, and boom goes the dynamite. All 4 under turret, only down 1 CS versus TuSin, who should be looking to, coming back into lane with a teleport. He's got quad Doran's blades as well, and very, very comparable itemization here. TuSin gonna hit that. Oh, Shock Blast does land, but so does that 90 caliber net. Going back in, there's the hit back towards the turret, and that exchange right there might just be what wins Shy this lane, although gotta keep an eye on the CS count as well. Each score count, that's still redundant. I can't think of another word to put after CS. Trying to figure out one of those. Shy looking to get through towards that minion wave. We'll get all 3 of those backline champions, taking a lot of his HP for it. More importantly, he'll push this wave towards the turret. Put on a lot more harass on a TuSin, possibly even damage onto that turret, which could be valuable if this game stretches on long enough. Keeping an eye on CS as well as, okay, there's Ace in the hole, so champion with an ultimate versus a champion, well, kind of without one. It's not like you're ever going to kill anybody with Jace ult. Well, I guess it does amplify your skills maybe just a little bit. Or your auto attacks rather specific. So we're starting to get to that 100 CS mark, so this is where every single CS matters. We're 99 to 97. Turrets are starting to go down across the map, but that shouldn't actually impact almost anything. If either one of these players goes back to base, they pretty much lose the game off of the creep score difference. So now we just have to make sure that every single one of these creeps gets hit. And oh, Shy drops one there. He's now down 1 CS in this matchup. If either player gets a 10 CS advantage over their lane opponent, they win the game. So it doesn't get a whole lot more intense than this. Just trying to play it still a little bit aggressively. Shy getting forward, but TuSin not afraid of any of those shock blasts. Shy will continue to keep that CS coming his way, and he's still 1 CS down. Can he harass TuSin under turret enough to make that CS differential? Thank you, directed camera, for focusing on the Teemo, who hasn't done anything all day but stay in base. I'm sure that's pretty important. Maybe we'll get a chance to see Teemo a little bit later on in the tournament. It's a good 1v1 in some situations, maybe, kind of, not really. I don't think we've seen a Teemo so far this game, this tournament. Shock Blast misses. Shy trying to keep these trades up, but actually running pretty low on mana here. Ace in the hole coming out again, and I wonder if TuSin can reliably win this lane matchup off of just hitting aces in the holes. I guess he would eventually run out of mana for it. Not a lot of ways to avoid that. Okay, a mini Shock Blast does land. No acceleration gate on that one. Keep an eye on this CS. It's still important, and it's something that Shy is actually starting to slip a little bit on. If he picks up all 4 of these creeps, then he'll actually be, continue to be 1 CS down, but he can't walk too closely to them. Misses 1, misses 2! And oh, this could spell the beginning of the end. All we need is a 10 CS advantage here for TuSin, which makes every single one of these creeps actually almost about to win him the game. I want to go on like clever anecdotes to make, humorous Korean references. But all of a sudden the game's going to end and we're going to be like, oh. And the game ended. Somewhat anticlimactic, and I believe this would be the closest CS battle of the day. Out of all the games that have happened so far, it's been TuSin and Shy here in the deciding game number 3. It has come the closest. Taking it back to a 1 CS difference, but it's about that sustain. Headshot proc onto Shy. He knows he's getting closer and closer. Losing this matchup. Teleport is about to be off cooldown, but I don't think he can go back to base here. If he backs right now, okay, he might lose a couple minions to turret. And he's actually going to avoid going back here. He needs this perfect CS to be able to keep himself in the game, but his turret continues to drop lower and lower. CS is gonna get lower, and wait a second, there it is. Yeah, the victory for TuSin.